This woman knew in advance that her parents were going to be in a car accident. While she was bathing, the news of the crash appeared on TV, but didn't seem to care. Her secretary called her in a panic. She coldly hung up. Even when the secretary bombarded her with frantic text messages, she ignored them, going so far as to block her entirely. The truth was, this woman had been reborn. In her previous life, when she had received the same desperate call from her secretary, she had rushed to the hospital. But the moment she arrived, the secretary slapped her across the face and accused her of tampering with her parents' car brakes, causing a chain reaction accident. Other victims' families surrounded her, pointing fingers, blaming her for everything. Through her tears, she firmly denied it. She swore she would never try to murder her own parents. But the next second, the secretary produced a video. In it, her parents claimed that their daughter had indeed wanted them dead. They said she wasn't their biological child, and angrily accused her of forcing them to hand over their assets. At that moment, despair swallowed her whole. Then, out of nowhere, her husband kicked her to the ground. He condemned her cruelty, refusing to believe her protests of innocence. Her husband picked up her mother's silver bracelet, crying and pretending to regret not saving them in time. Police arrived soon after. They confirmed the brakes had been deliberately damaged, and they had also found her fingerprints. She was arrested on the spot. In the end, she was sentenced to death for murder. But heaven itself seemed unwilling to let her die wrongly accused. In the blink of an eye, reborn at the very moment before the accident. When she saw the date on the calendar, she realized what had happened. Overwhelmed, she immediately called her parents. Hearing their voices alive and well, she wept with relief. Her mother was puzzled, but she begged them not to drive that day. Then, on a video call, her husband suddenly appeared. He promised her he would take good care of her parents. Her heart turned cold. She remembered all too clearly the venom he had shown in her past life. She became certain that he was one of the people plotting against her. Steadying her emotions, she began to analyze everything. She believed her parents had truly loved her. That meant, in the past, they must have been forced into recording that damning video. Just then, there was a knock at her office door. It was her secretary, coming in to deliver some files. In truth, the secretary was her husband's cousin. In the past, her husband had asked her to give his cousin a position, so she had reluctantly hired her as her secretary, never realizing the two were plotting together. That afternoon, the secretary requested leave. The woman instantly recalled the past scene where the same secretary had accused her. So she asked, with uncharacteristic calm, why she wanted the time off. Caught off guard, the secretary hesitated. She wasn't used to being questioned. After a pause, she said she needed to go to the hospital for a checkup. The woman sneered inwardly. She knew full well the secretary had been spending time near her house lately. She leaned forward and warned her coldly not to harm her parents or try to frame her for it. The secretary's face paled with nerves. But it had only been a test. Smiling lightly, the woman said she was joking, and waved her out. Still, she had seen the truth in the secretary's eyes. Immediately, she instructed her assistant to dig up everything about the secretary's background. Then, calm and composed, she went home and returned to her milk bath. As expected, the secretary called in a panic later. The woman blocked her without hesitation.